And thank everybody for being here. And Madam Clerk, I believe the second item on the agenda, in case there's somebody here who wants to see the agenda, I guess, Madam Clerk, it's on the table tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right. Second item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have anybody signed up for any written public comment?
No, sir.
Okay. Number 3 on the agenda, public hearing, proposed budget for fiscal year 2021, 2022. Mr. Hewitt, you want to speak to this?
Yes, sir. This is the public hearing for the upcoming fiscal year. You have been provided the budget message previously, but as a recap, I do have a few slides that I'll go through, reminding everyone the calendar that we adhered to. It brings us to tonight's public hearing that was preceded by a couple of budget workshops, the departmental heads, and working with the canal dredging group to prepare the budget message that was provided to the board on the 31st. And as a reminder, the budget as proposed, subject to any revisions you'd want to make between now and the regular scheduled meeting on the 15th, that would be when it would be proposed to be considered for adoption on that agenda. And then, of course, we must adopt a budget by the end of this fiscal year, 30 June. But before I jump into it, I did want to bring back a couple of things and takeaways from our work session on the 21st of May. There was a question I asked at the end of the meeting regarding what the gas bill was for the police department. Last year it was I provided that information to you. It's $20,448. So far this year, 11 months into the year, it's $21,455. So that's bringing that information back to you. This budget reflects the changes or the proposed budget in front of you reflects the changes resulting from the workshop on the 21st, i.e., you wanted the body cams deleted from the police department, the available to appropriate funds at that time, wanted those moved over to partner with possibly the American Recovery Plan money, that $240,000 for a possible stormwater solutions. Both of those, the streets money moved over from the governing body, the $240,000, coupled with the $194,000 that we anticipate being received from the American Recovery Plan program. Those being considered in tandem with the bike path paving project, all in on it, or as some mixture of solving chronic stormwater problems on Ocean Boulevard. So that still remains to be seen, the timing on that ARP money, but suffice it to say that the proposed budget, those were the changes that y'all wanted made. In general, as required by the Fiscal Control Act, the proposed budget satisfies all your debt services, which is approximately $2.9 million, proposes a 20-cent tax rate. It also passes through the counties for half the year anyway, $2.36 per thousand water rate increase, the wholesale water rate increase. It contributes $500,000 from the general fund to the Beach Inlet and Capital Reserve Fund, and then it maintains a general fund balance in accordance with your fiscal policy. It just estimated at slightly above 40%. Some additional highlights there. This budget executes the total 4 FEMA beach projects, which altogether are close to $46 million. It includes a 3% merit pool, provides for Seagull Street paving, procures a sanitation dump truck, an additional position plus a replacement vehicle in inspections, along with establishing drone services capability in the inspections department. It converts a part-time police administrative position to full-time, procures 2 replacement vehicles in the police department, and stands up the Central Square dispatch system. Additionally, provides funds for a water and sewer replacement vehicle, and fully establishes the funds the fire hydrant replacement and repair program, which was established in accordance with the Commissioner's resolution of doing 10 of those a year. The proposed budget contains funding for a water rate study, an evaluation for a second water tower. It also provides funding for the Lift Station 2 upfit, in addition to procuring a replacement generator for Lift Station 4, all while maintaining a shovel-ready canal dredging program posture. It also provides for an assorted number of walkway repairs, and the aforementioned, or previously had mentioned, that the Ocean Boulevard bike path is funding for the grant portion, or the matching share of the grant portion is also included in here, along with the $500,000 town contribution for the first year of the Corps' coastal storm damage reduction project. And I believe lastly that there are funds in here for the Lockwood Folly Inlet maintenance, normal sidecaster dredge operations, and the crossing sand project. So those are the highlights of the budget, and we've got the entire staff here this evening to dialogue with anyone or the commissioners as y'all deem necessary.
All right, Commissioners, we've got the first question. Or are there any?
You covered everything.
I think we discussed it earlier. Is there a motion? We can't do the motion, I guess, until we finish the public hearing, haven't we? Is the motion in order, madam? Okay.
The public hearing's finished, yes.
Pardon me?
If we're finished with the public hearing.
Okay. I never did declare the public hearing over, did I? I'd correct myself here. This ends the public hearing, and we are in regular session.
Yes, sir.
My failure to hit the gavel and declare the public hearing over. It is over. We're in discussion now, and we are prepared for a motion, if there is one, to be made by the commissioners in regards to consideration of passage of the town budget.
You won't be able to do that until the meeting on the 15th.
Okay, well, that's what I was trying to.
Right. Yes, sir.
I must be asleep or something. I'm trying to do better. Wake up. It's been a tough day. All right, so we're not gonna have a motion on it, but is there any discussion of any kind? Do you want to move on?
I'm going.
All right, if there's no more discussion about the budget, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, then we would move to number 5 on the agenda. Is that correct? 4. I'll leave.
Hey, Gerald, maybe you should take a guess.
You all right? I got some extra glasses.
All right, Mr. Green, will you throw a rock at me for a failure? I'll just recognize you. All right, we're on number 4 of the agenda. I think it's the worst I've ever done. But, all right, Mr. Hewitt, we're going to defer to you on number 4.
Yes, sir, and I'm going to lateral right over to Mr. Clemens.
Yeah, page 2 in your packet, there's a memo there, it's in reference to agreement for lift station number 2, engineering services. Attached for Board of Commissioners consideration of the proposed agreement for professional services for structural and mechanical work for sewer lift station 2. The engineer is proposing an aggressive schedule for the project as reflected in the project contract. The total for the engineering services is $255,990. agreement appears standard and sufficient, funds are currently budgeted to allow for its execution. The staff recommends approval of this agreement. And if anybody got any questions or anything, I'd ask Mr. Green to attend this meeting, and he'd be able to answer any questions or anything you might have.
Commissioners, do you have any questions of Mr. Green?
I've got one. I'm a licensed general contractor, and I build houses for a living, so this, we're probably not on the same level. If, I have a question about the design phase of your bid. I asked Mr. Clemens if the lift station was exactly like or similar to the last one. So myself as a contractor, if I get an architect or an engineer to design a set of house plans, they're mine and they're mine forever. So we use them perpetually. If we build the house 10 times, we don't incur that same expense. So I see that it's cheaper, but I was expecting it to be a little bit cheaper than that, if it is indeed the same, which was the information I got from Mr. Clemens. It was actually a little bit easier than the last one, and I see the price has gone down, but $116,000 is a lot of money. If we're building the same animal here, if we're building the same bicycle, if we're, the same car or whatever. It's just the way I look at things, and I just want an answer to that, I guess.
Well, it looks the same, but internally it is not the same necessarily. As pump horsepower has changed, as electrical requirements change, and we have to go through it from scratch. We don't, in doing the design, we can't take anything for granted. We got to start all over again. Granted, the architectural facility is going to look just like 3 and 4, but the guts of it is not. Performance of it will be different. That's the long and short of it. And I'll say this: we've been very fortunate with the 3 and 4 to have had a good contractor. We've had a very good working relationship with him. Hopefully, you can get him or someone as good as that group on this next one. They've cooperated with the engineer, they've cooperated with the town, and that's made that part fun to work with. But a big part of our proposal is the administration and the construction supervision. If we end up with a contractor on this next phase, it could be a nightmare. You get these change order contractors that come in, and they'll kill you, or they'll try to. As you well know, you say you're a contractor.
That's right.
Okay, so you know how change orders do.
Wasn't really speaking to that portion of it. I know you have to supervise whoever's doing the work, no matter what. It was just, I look at the design phase like a blueprint, so to speak, just like I would a house. And if it's not the same, then I got the wrong information. I mean, when somebody tells me it's the same, that means there's nothing different. So if it is different, then and you have to actually provide a whole new set of working drawings and things like that, then this is justified. It was just a question. So it's not the same, so it's different. So that's the only question I had. If it was exactly the same lift station, then I would think this charge is excessive. So if you're using the same plans, changing the address, you may have to do some, surveys and site modifications or whatever. But as far as the actual building and the pumps and all that stuff, if it was truly the same, then That's why I was questioning the money.
I understand your question, I understand how it looks, but, I mean, you know, we gave from 3 to 2, we cut our fee, and, believe it or not, we did not make any profit on 3. I'm not trying to make it up here, because we've cut our proposed fee.
And to be honest with you, I expected it to go down because you've done several of these, so that's why that plays into a big part of who we select to do the work, that, you know, hopeful that as, if we're building, you know, more of these things, then we would get a lower price. And
Well, what we
the
also.
construction is probably gonna be.
If you look at our schedule on this, and I don't think there's another engineer in the state that can work with the schedule we've got. This thing is gonna be online next May. I mean, that's the schedule.
I'm not questioning any of that.
And in order to do that, then we've got to add more staff to it up front to get these drawings out and get this job bid and get it awarded. Hopefully, we're not back up here after we did this thing because of the price increases. Now, you're having price increases. We know we're gonna have price increases on this job. And we didn't put anything in our budget to cover the negotiation, trying to get this thing back down within the money. I'm gonna be surprised if we can get it back down within the money with what we're seeing.
I understand that. That was it. That was it.
Hopefully you won't have to buy much wood.
Let's just hope-
Hopefully it won't take much, a little bit, or maybe a little.
There ain't much OSB
scaffolding,
board
concrete and
involved.
so forth. But Lord, it's unreal.
Did you hear me?
We know where you're coming from on that, on the call. I mean, and it's mostly with, you know, it's, your metals are the same. I've heard that from different contractors and everything. I understand, you know, and, you know, you brought up a good point, a really good point, you know, that you gave the answer we were looking for. You know, it is different. It's not the very same, it's not the same thing. And when you take all the schematics and all that into consideration, you know, we understand. And thank you. Because so far you've done the town a great job, and I just want to say, this is just me personally, I want to say thank you.
Thank
I watch your contractors, you got somebody there that's keeping a close eye on things. Because those boys are turning it out, you know, and they're to be commended. You know, they get there and they're working solid, steady days, and, you know, that's good. That's what we like to see. Mr. Chris, he kind of keeps us posted. We have to call him once in a while. So he basically tells me just hush and I'll take care of things. If we have a main problem, we'll call you. I'm just messing, just throwing that out at you. But I do want to say thank you.
Any more commissioner comments?
No, sir, I just want to thank you again for getting it done so quickly, number 3, and with the aggressive schedule that you have for this one. You know, it's one of those that we can't wait. We need to get started and get this done. Again, I was in the same heart with Brian. I was worked with engineers all my life, and when you're building a school bus is a school bus. But when you build one for one state versus another state, there is some engineering involved. And I was under the impression, again, you say they do look the same, but I just didn't know there was any fundamental differences within the structure that would make it that much, that it would be that much different from the other ones. But if we're gonna do it, let's get it done.
All right. We ready?
All right.
Move that the board approves the proposed agreement for professional services with Green Engineering PLLC.
Second.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Mr. Green, you have unanimous support of the board.
Thank you.
For all you're doing.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And, sir, and about what you're undertaking, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything else on this, Mr. Hewitt?
No, sir.
All right, we ready to go to number 5? Y'all help me out, I'm having a hard time.
I'll get this complete paperwork to you this morning.
Follows 4.
I'll get this completed.
Madam Clerk, would you like to read?
Yes, sir. Executive session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-1185 to instruct the staff or agent concerning the negotiation of the price and terms of a contract concerning the acquisition of real property.
Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. We're going to go into executive session. Thank you all for being here, and we'll come out in a little while. Here it is. I heard the motion, but I didn't hear the,
We have a motion and a second to adjourn, Mr. Allen.
the mayor would like to take control again.
Thank you, sir.
And all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? It's unanimously adjourned.